Alright, so today what I'm going to do is I am going to be working on the server for the web page and for the Moodle and for the OpenCloud or possibly Nextcloud. I haven't decided which one of those two I'm going to use yet. But they're basically it's going to be an R310, and I'm just going to take the camera over to the rack and show you. But I'm going to be putting two hard drives in it and running them in a mirror configuration. A RAID 1 is what I'm going to be using. So I'm just going to turn the camera around here. You can see this is the machine that I am going to be using. Again, it's an R310 from Dell, and it has a Xeon processor. Oh, get the camera fixed there. Sorry. And it is going to be running a Mir 1 configuration. Mir 1 is one drive being replicated to another drive. So basically what you get is the data is copied back and forth, and if one drive dies, then you can remove it, grab the other drive, and rebuild it into an exact duplicate again. There are other configurations that I would recommend in a different environment. In a more robust environment, I would be using a RAID 5 or a RAID 5 Plus or a RAID 6 or a RAID 6 Plus Plus, possibly even a RAID 10 depending on how much utilization the server is going to be getting. But a RAID 6 Plus Plus would be probably enough because you have two drives that you can use for redundancy. So if one drive fails, you're still running and you take the other one out. So it's basically, they call them spares. So RAID with spare, RAID with spare, spare. I call them RAID Plus and RAID Plus Plus. So anyway, that's what I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to stop the video here, and I'm going to continue on with some screen capture once I get it a little more set up and running. You don't need to see me installing hard drives, so see you in a few minutes. So I just thought I'd quickly show you here. What I've done is I've removed the caddies, and those are 600 gigabyte cheetahs that were in that machine. But what I'm going to be replacing them with are 2 terabyte Hitachis. I purchased a large lot of Hitachi 2 terabyte drives, and so most of my infrastructure is going to be using these 2 terabyte drives. It's going to make a big difference in the reliability. I can just rebuild with exactly the same drives anytime they go down. I have a lot of spares of these, so it's just one thing to think about when you're designing a network, or sorry, not a network, but a system, is to make sure that you readily have available additional drives or spare drives that are the same type. It makes rebuilding RAIDs so much easier when and if you ever have to. So just an inset note there. Alright, so I have the web server up and running. I decided to add the mail server to it as well because I didn't want to run a separate box. And there's only going to be about 4 people with email, and I'm going to have a few admin accounts as well. So I can't see being any more than 10 email accounts. So really, there's no reason in this instance why I couldn't just keep it with the web server and with the cloud server as well. So it's not like there's going to be a huge heavy amount of traffic on it. So I just combined that and installed that service in as well. I haven't configured it yet. I'm going to do that for another video. I was planning to do the web server all by itself. So I'll do that in another video, and I'll show you the results of that as well. Now I need to remind everybody, I'm not going through the process of doing everything on the screen. Like that's not what this playlist is about. This playlist is simply about each step going through setting up an enterprise environment and giving you a quick intro to it, then doing the process and showing you the end results and moving on to the next step. There's a few things where I've given a little more detail because I feel it's important for everybody to know those details. They're very important details when I do mention them. So this is not a how-to, this is a explore the process of series, and I just wanted to put that reminder out there in case anyone's expecting me to show them step by step, line by line, how to set up a LAMP server and a web server and a mail server and to install a cloud server as well. It's like, no, I'm just showing you the end results and and going through the whole process, building up to get the whole environment in place. With that being said, I'll remove my log on session here. I'll actually log out of my server. And I'll close that session down and I'll show you the results. So I haven't built a web page yet, but what I can do for you is to show you that on my internal machine, which all the port forwarding will be set up in the Ubiquity gateway to forward to this machine. But there's the default Ubuntu web page showing that the LAMP stack was installed, web pages are working, everything is functional. Then over here is the cloud server. So I'll just go back to the base. I'm logged in as me. I haven't set up any other users yet, but there's basically what you're looking at. There is a few problems with the code check, and that is I need to address those yet. Basically, I'm using one version depreciated of PHP, so I'll need to upgrade my PHP to 7.1. I'm using 7.0, and then all that code check issue will go away once it runs a scan. So in here, you've got basically all your files, favorites, shared with you, shared with others, shared by link. And then you've got your box in here where you can go. So the nice thing I like about OwnCloud is it also is a media player. Like if you put a couple options in there, you can actually use it to store and watch your equipment. So I can completely full screen that.
What I've done is I've removed the caddies.
Pause that. So that's one of my, that's part of this video. You would have seen it earlier, but I thought I would use it as a content to show you. Now you can full screen that. There's an equalizer on there. You can adjust things, but basically you've got a built-in player. So if you have media files and you're traveling and there's nothing on Netflix and you want to watch some of yours, you can log in here and you can just access the files. Same thing goes if I go back to home for music. I'll go into the music file and right away I can start playing. There's a player right down here. Click. There we go. So there you go. You can adjust the volume over here, mute it, do whatever you want. Yeah, and it'll automatically go from one to the other to the other. Now the other thing you can do is you could share this. I don't have any other users set up, but this little share icon here, I could share that file with somebody, and I could put in here who I want to share it with, and if there's a user in there, say it was Hawse, it would populate, but of course it's not going to find that because I'm already the owner, but anyone else. So it would populate and I could share that with as many people as I want. Super simple sharing method. So you can see how this would be good for office collaboration files, working on projects. There's also a default plugin. I don't have any on here to view PDFs in-house. There's also a method that I'm probably going to do to integrate LibreOffice into the GUI so that you can completely run, open, edit, work on Office documents right in your OwnCloud. Just like Office 365 or Google Docs. So I can have all that integrated in. All you need is a machine with a web browser. You could use a Chromebook or whatever and you'd be fine, right? So anyway, in a nutshell, that's setting up the web server and setting up the OwnCloud. I just have to make the configuration change in my firewall for port forwarding. I've got to upgrade my PHP 7 and basically this project is done. I'll probably come back in a few days and do the web server project for the email. Sorry, not web server, the email server project. And hope you join me for that. Have a good day.